The Norwegian Nobel Committee will make their announcement as it relates to this year's Nobel Peace Prize on October the 10th, Friday, October the 10th. Is that date circled on your calendar, Mr. President?
I can't say. I mean, a lot of people say, no matter what I did, because, I'm of a certain persuasion, no matter what I do, they won't give it. And I'm not politicking for it. I have a lot of people that are. I know. I mean, I read the same things as you do. But it would be a great honor, certainly. But I would never politic. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because of, I really, number one, I want to save lives. That's why I'm involved so much with Ukraine and Russia. It's saving lives of Russians and Ukrainians. It's not American lives. Now, I would say this, that war could have escalated into something much better. That could have been a world war. I think if we didn't come, Ukraine-Russia would have ended up being a world war. And I stopped that. That stopped. Now, the only question is, when is it going to be settled? And it could be very soon, but when is it going to be? But that would have been a world war. If I didn't come along with a very talented group of people sitting largely right here, but there are others not in the room that are very talented, I think Russia, Ukraine would have had a very, very high degree, I think even probably would have ended up being in a world war.
Your predecessor.
I don't think people talk about that now because they don't see it anymore, but we brought it down a long way. But that was getting to a point. When I first came in, I said, wow, this thing is really bad. And it could have escalated to a level that you people would have been very unhappy with. Yeah.
Your predecessor.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liberation Lens, Perspective Matters. Donald Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize. Not quietly. Not humbly. He wants it loudly, and some say, obsessively. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton once said, Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize more than anything else. He called it a fixation that shaped Trump's foreign policy. In recent years, Trump has received formal endorsements from several world leaders. From Israel's Netanyahu, who praised him for forging peace in one region after another, to Pakistan, for mediating a ceasefire with India, though India denies it. From Cambodia, Liberia, and most recently, Armenia and Azerbaijan. Now, let's take a listen to some of the endorsements.
Today, and I said that within several months he managed to put an end to conflicts in Asia, in Africa, and now in Southern Caucasus. What we could not achieve for more than 30 years. We had to sacrifice lives. We had to fight two very bad wars with a lot of casualties. And if not for President Trump and his team, and our great friend, Mr. Witkoff and his team, probably today, Armenia and Azerbaijan would have been again in this endless process of negotiations. So really, it's a historic day. We are today.
I think President Trump deserved to have a Nobel Peace Prize, and we will defend that, and we will promote for that, and that's obvious. So, and today's event, I think, is a very bright expression of that, and hopefully you will invite us to
front row. You'll be front row.
Yeah. I think President.
Can I have a suggestion?
Yes.
So maybe we agree with Prime Minister Pashinyan to send a joint appeal to Nobel Committee to award President Trump with the Nobel Peace Prize, because from the leaders of the countries which were at war for more than 3 decades, having this historic signature here, it really means a lot. This is tangible result of President Trump's leadership, and no one could have achieved that. So who, if not President Trump, deserves the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes, These are two longtime rivals who fought over Nagorno-Karabakh for decades, claiming to endorse Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. You heard Azerbaijan's president, Ilham Aliyev, say, "Maybe we agree with Prime Minister Pashinyan to send a joint appeal to the Nobel Committee to award President Trump." That was after Pashinyan said, "President Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, and we will promote that." This keeps many wondering whether they mean their words or just playing to the gallery. Are they aware of the confidentiality in candidate nomination process? How about Trump's supporters? They're all in. At CPAC, MAGA loyalists declared, Trump has done more for peace than any president in modern history. Fox's Rachel Campos Duffy said, "When they gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Obama, I knew the whole thing was a scam." Activist Robbie Starbuck added, "They'll give it to him if he continues the war, but not if he negotiates peace. They're truly evil." Now, let's take a listen at some of the innuendos.
So there's a lot to be done to bring peace, but no one can say this guy is not trying and that he's not just more deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize than any other leader on the planet Earth, and certainly more than Barack Obama, who did nothing and got the prize.
Who ran a political campaign and then got a Nobel Peace Prize. In a normal world, of course, Donald Trump would have been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
If he doesn't get a Nobel Prize, the Nobel Prize becomes meaningless. So,
it may already be, but...
Yeah, he might revive it if they give it back.
Yeah.
I remember when they gave Barack Obama the Nobel Peace Prize. I think it was in 2009. You might remember that he was only elected president in 2008. They gave it to him for no reason whatsoever. It was purely aspirational. No reason at all other than he had won an election. Well, now Donald Trump's won 2 elections. And the entire time he's been focused on bringing peace to the world. The Abraham Accords in the first term, now in the second term, expansion of peace in the Middle East, defeating the Iranian terror regime, making the courageous decision to strike the Iranians. The African continent is now moving hard to settle this Ukraine-Russia matter. If they don't give Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, it'll be an absolute travesty. A lot of people like to talk about war and peace. He talks about peace and war. I think he absolutely 100% wants to bring peace to this world. I think he's doing it. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize.
Some even dismissed the prize itself. Lara Logan posted, "Excuse my French, but who gives a st about the Nobel Peace Prize anymore?" But critics, they're not buying it. Emma Shortis, a scholar from Rimit University, said, "Nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize is like entering a hyena in a dog show." Ali Momuri, a Middle East analyst, argued that Trump's Abraham Accords deliberately sidelined the Palestinian issue. But Mr. Trump said during a speech at the Detroit Economic Club in October of 2024, "If I were named Obama, I would have had the Nobel Prize given to me in 10 seconds. Let's listen to more of the things he has said thus far.
What would happen if you hear from the Israelis?
They will never give me a Nobel Peace Prize.
What would happen? What would happen if the Israelis?
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me.
Well, they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one, too. They won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee will make their announcement as it relates to this year's Nobel Peace Prize on October the 10th, Friday, October the 10th. Is that date circled on your calendar, Mr. President?
I can't say. I mean, a lot of people say, no matter what I did, because, I'm of a certain persuasion, no matter what I do, they won't give it. And I'm not politicking for it. I have a lot of people that are. I know. I mean, I read the same things as you do. But it would be a great honor, certainly. But I would never politic. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because of, I really, number one, I want to save lives. That's why I'm involved so much with Ukraine and Russia. It's saving lives of Russians and Ukrainians. It's not American lives. Now, I would say this, that war could have escalated in something much better. That could have been a world war. I think if we didn't come, Ukraine-Russia would have ended up being a world war. And I stopped that. That stopped. Now, the only question is, when is it going to be settled? And it could be very soon. But when is it going to be? But that would have been a world war. If I didn't come along with a very talented group of people sitting largely right here, but there are others not in the room that are very talented, I think Russia, Ukraine would have had a very, very high degree, I think even probably would have ended up being in a world war.
Your predecessor.
I don't think people talk about that now because they don't see it anymore, but we brought it down a long way. But that was getting to a point. When I first came in, I said, wow, this thing is really bad. And it could have escalated to a level that you people would have been very unhappy with. Yeah.
Your predecessor.
But let's talk about his diplomacy. In Ukraine, he proposed land swaps, without consulting Ukraine. President Zelensky responded, an imitated rather than genuine peace will not hold for long. In Gaza, Trump's silence has been deafening. Despite appeals from over 600 Israeli security officials to stop the war in Gaza, he's largely deferred to Netanyahu. Palestinian leaders accuse him of ignoring humanitarian crises in East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. So what's driving this? Many say Trump's foreign policy isn't about vision. It's about comparison. Especially with Barack Obama. He's repeatedly mocked Obama's 2009 Nobel win, saying, he didn't even know why he got it. But let's now hear how in different instances, Trump appraises himself relative to the Nobel Peace Prize.
As president, my highest aspiration is to bring peace and stability to the world. Today's signing follows our success with India and Pakistan. They were going at it. They were going at it big, and they were great, two great leaders that came together just prior to what would have been a tremendous conflict, as you know, a nuclear conflict probably. Also the Congo and Rwanda. Now that was one which was going on for 31 years. You have them beat. 35 years you had them beat. But that was going on for 31 years, and we have it all done, and people are very happy. That was a rough one. That was nasty. 7 million people that they know of died. Also, just recently, Thailand and Cambodia, that was one that was just starting. That 2,000 people were dead on the border, but it was just starting. And I was talking to one of the two nations on trade, and I said, I'm not going to sign a trade deal if you guys are going to fight. And I got the other one. And again, great leadership, Thailand and Cambodia. And before it got started, beyond that first couple of days, we stopped the war. And they've had wars periodically, very much as you two have had long-term wars. And we got it stopped. And the two, again, I find in all cases, they're great leaders. If they didn't agree, I would say they're lousy leaders, to be honest with you. But they did agree. And so Thailand and Cambodia, Serbia and Kosovo, we got something stopped that was ready to start. We didn't like that one. We didn't like it at all. And we saved a lot of lives. It's a long time, 35 years. They fought, and now they're friends. And they're going to be friends for a long time. But it's a big, beautiful honor to welcome everyone to the White House for this very historic peace summit between Armenia and Azerbaijan. It's really a great thrill for me. I love seeing good people get together, and that's what you have. You have two great leaders. I want to congratulate these two visionary people, Prime Minister Pashinyan and President Aliyev, for coming to Washington to sign this momentous joint declaration. It's a tremendously important document, and it's been a long time in coming. They were explaining before that So many times they thought they could get there. It never happened. Just never happened.
All about Rwanda and the Congo. We'll be doing a peace settlement, probably coming in on Monday or Tuesday. We're going to be signing it up, and we've stopped a very vicious war. So that was an honor for me to be involved. I want to thank J.D. Vance for a great job, and also our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has done a fantastic job. So Rwanda, a long-term war with the Congo, a very bloody war. They're all bloody, but this was a really bloody one. Is going to be making peace with Congo, and they can get on to making trade deals with the United States and other places and have a much more normal form of life. We're very honored by that. As you know, we did a very great job with India and Pakistan, and we had India in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with India. And we had Pakistan in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with Pakistan. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Serbia, Kosovo, likewise. They've been fighting for years. And as you know, we brought that one to a conclusion. And now we have a couple of big ones. We have Russia, Ukraine, which is making a little bit of progress. And we have Israel. And nobody really knows what that one is all about. We're going to find out pretty soon, I guess.
So we're here today to celebrate a glorious triumph, and that's what it is, for the cause of peace. And this is a long time waiting, the signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. The conflict has continued, and it's been going on for many, many years. It's been going from, I guess they say 30 years. The Great Lakes region of Africa for a long time, and maybe even a time before that. How is the Great Lakes region? Must be beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful region, but they had a lot of war, right? A lot of fighting, a lot of death. It's displaced countless people and claimed the lives of thousands and thousands. But today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity, harmony, prosperity, and peace.
But what are critics really saying about him? As The Independent put it, indulging Trump's embarrassing desire for trophies might appease him for a short time. It would also strip the Nobel Peace Prize of any and all credibility. But how is the Nobel Peace Prize actually awarded? It's decided by the Norwegian Nobel Committee, 5 members appointed by Norway's parliament. They review nominations from qualified individuals, politicians, academics, past laureates. From there, they create a shortlist. Deliberate for months. Consult experts. And announce the winner in October. The prize is awarded on December 10th, Alfred Nobel's death anniversary. And no endorsements from world leaders don't guarantee anything. The committee looks for impact, legitimacy, and alignment with Nobel's vision of peace. So whether Trump's efforts are genuine diplomacy or theatrical self-promotion, his pursuit of the Nobel Peace Prize raises deeper questions about leadership, about legacy, and about what peace really means. Is it about propaganda such as the following? Let's take a listen.
Today, and I said that within several months he managed to put an end to conflicts in Asia, in Africa, and now in Southern Caucasus. What we could not achieve for more than 30 years. We had to sacrifice lives. We had to fight 2 very bad wars with a lot of casualties. And if not for President Trump and his team, and our great friend, Mr. Witkoff and his team, probably today, Armenia and Azerbaijan would have been again in this endless process of negotiations. So really, it's a historic day. We are today...
Let me tell you firsthand what I've witnessed myself. I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I covered President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country. They never gave me any answer. And he told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congolese people, they see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice. Boy, and that's
This is Liberation Lens, Perspective Matters. If you like what we do, subscribe, like, follow, share, and hit the notification button to stay on the alert for more of our content. Thank you.